Someone this week spent $400 on a lunchbox, then spent another 3 hours on the internet explaining why it wasn't worth it. They then ordered the terrain set. That person is most of us. That person might be you. That person is definitely someone in the hobby, and I love them for it. Welcome to the Miniature Misinformer podcast, the only tabletop news show brave enough to report that every single faction is simultaneously dead, and that this makes no mathematical sense, and that nobody cares. I'm your host. Let's get into this. This week, Warhammer 40K 11th edition box set Armageddon officially launched. Thousands of hobbyists purchased it immediately. Thousands more posted videos explaining why they absolutely would not be purchasing it. Roughly the same number that bought it anyways. Meanwhile, Games Workshop dropped the 11th edition Dataslate. According to social media, all 28 factions have now been destroyed, rendered unplayable, and forced to rely on harsh language as their primary weapon. Statistically, all 28 factions are currently bottom tier. Scientists are baffled. Let's get into the news. Hobby scandals. Armageddon release causes national emergency. The launch box hit shelves. Reports indicate hobbyists experience classic symptoms, excessive page refreshing, sudden financial amnesia, and the advanced condition known as it's actually a great value. One player was spotted at his local game store, hand on his wallet saying, and I quote, "I am only buying the rulebook." 3 hours later, he was carrying the launch box, 2 combat patrols, a terrain set, a carrying case, and a commemorative coffee mug that was somehow the most expensive item on the receipt. The rulebook was still in the store. Nobody has confirmed whether he ever went back for it. Investigators are following up. Every faction declared dead. The 11th edition Dataslate dropped. Within 6 minutes, Space Marine players announced the faction was ruined. Chaos players announced the faction was ruined. Aldari players announced the faction was ruined. Orc players, and you'll notice a theme here, the faction was ruined. Tyranid players announced the faction was ruined. A player running the current highest win rate in the entire game announced his faction was ruined. Experts estimate 94% of all hobby content this week consisted of people explaining why their armies is now unplayable, despite not having played a single game. Apparently, the dice are optional, the despair is not. Leaked Games Workshop internal document surfaces. A source has provided what appears to be a leaked 3-page internal Games Workshop document. We have verified its authenticity. The contents are as follows. Page 1. Players wanted balance. Page 2. We tried. Page 3. Good luck. There was a 4th page, but it was just a points increase for whatever you're running right now. This week's Community Watch. Hobbyist survives local game store. A player this week attended an event with a fully painted army. Upon arrival, not a single person asked, "When are you going to paint the rest?" The community is calling this a historical moment. A candlelight vigil has been scheduled to honor the occasion. Canadian Hobby Alert. A gaming club in Ontario this week settled a rules dispute by apologizing. Both sides apologized, then apologized for apologizing, and then apologized for making the other person feel like they needed to apologize. The game ended in a tie, naturally. The event was rated 5 stars and described as very respectful by all attendees. Tim Hortons provided refreshments. Nobody mentioned it, but everyone appreciated it. The great Dataslate panic of this specific Tuesday. One player posted on their local group, "My army is dead." Community members investigated. The army has received a 2% points increase on 1 unit. The player later clarified it's the principal. The unit in question has not been used in 6 months. The player owns 4 of them. They are still in the box, unopened, possibly unloved, definitely unbuilt. The principal, however, remains critically injured. BattleTech player reaches full power. Over in BattleTech, a game that operates on a different timeline, a different reality, and apparently a different relationship with the concept of finishing your collection, a player reportedly completed painting every miniature he owns. Witnesses say reality distorted briefly. A soft golden light filled the room. He is now believed to exist on a higher dimensional plane and communicates exclusively through record sheets. We should all aspire to this. None of us will achieve it. Hobby influencer accidentally honest. A content creator released a video titled Top 10 Armies You Must Buy Right Now. 43 minutes into a 45-minute video, deep in the part only chronically a line people see, he accidentally said you should probably just finish what you already own. The video was immediately demonetized. His management is reviewing the incident. He has not publicly commented. Insiders say he's doing well, but has been staring at his own pile of shame with what they describe as new eyes. Star Wars Legion discovers a new unit of measurement. A tournament organizer announced all range checks would henceforth be measured in approximately 1 lightsaber. Nobody noticed a difference. The ruling passed unanimously. This is a hobby where someone has definitely measured something with a fork before, and we all know it. Bolt action update. Historical gamers remain calm, as they always do, while 40k players debate points adjustments on units that were already overpowered last week. Bolt action players are still passionately discussing a battle that happened in 1944. Some of these arguments have now lasted longer than the actual war. Nobody is rushing anymore. This is considered normal. Conquest update. Conquest players continue their quiet campaign of producing genuinely gorgeous miniatures that nobody outside their community has looked at. Experts estimate every Conquest player owns exactly 3 armies and has explained age, rank, and flank mechanics to at least 17 strangers who didn't ask, unprompted, with diagrams. Brush tips nobody asked for. Welcome back to everyone's favorite segment, Brush Tips Nobody Asked For. Take notes. There will be no test because I believe in you, and also because this is a podcast. Tip 1. If your painting is too thick, add water. If your paint is too thin, use less water. Thank you for attending my masterclass. There are no refunds. Tip number 2. Mold lines are governed by a natural law I call Murphy's Miniature. You will not find the mold line while building the model. You will not find the mold line while priming. You will find it 3 hours later into a delicate highlight on the face. The mold line will have waited patiently. The mold line is smarter than both of us. Advanced technique. Hold your brush with confidence. The miniature can spell hesitation. It will punish you for it. Weathering tip. Drop the miniature. Instant battle damage. Tournament legal. Emotionally devastating. And some tears to the texture for extra realism. Canadian winter tip. If your paint freezes in the garage, congratulations. You've invented frost effect paint, patent pending. Results will vary. Do not tell your spouse you were painting in the garage in January. They already know. And now a word from our sponsors. Are you overwhelmed by 11th edition? Convinced your army is unplayable? Unable to stop refreshing the Warhammer community site for updates about a game you haven't played in 3 weeks? Armageddon Therapy Services is here for you. Our trained counselors will listen carefully. They'll nod with genuine empathy. Then, with extraordinary gentleness, they will ask, have you actually played a game yet? Side effects include improved perspective, accidental enjoyment, and remembering why you got into this hobby in the first place. Not covered by most insurance providers, but neither is your pile of shame. Dataslate Insurance Trademark Incorporated. Did your favorite unit lose a special rule? Did your combo disappear? Did your list, the one thing you've been theory crafting for 6 months, get quietly deleted with a points adjustment? Dataslate Insurance provides emotional support and 1 complimentary box of tissues per balance update. Premium members received emergency coping affirmations, including our most popular, maybe it's still good, and the slightest less popular, the meta will shift. Platinum tier unlocks the exclusive Games Workshop is actually trying their best card. We don't guarantee you'll believe it, we just laminated it nicely. Hobby Vault Extra Large. Pile of shame storage solutions. Running out of room, running out of shelves, out of excuses. Introducing Hobby Vault Extra Large, the first storage system measured entirely on unbuilt combat patrols. Climate controlled, reinforced shelving, and for our Canadian customers, a discreet hidden compartment for purchases your partner doesn't need to know about. Now available in our signature finish, Denial Grey. Hobby Vault Extra Large, because the pile doesn't go away, you just need better infrastructure. This week's rotating minigame, Miniature Court. Court is in session. All rise. You may be seated. The defendant is probably painting right now and doesn't know he's on trial. Case number 24011. The People versus Steve's Proxy Army. The accused allegedly fielded a soup can as a tank, 3 shampoo bottles as walkers, and a garden gnome as a demon prince. The defense argued compellingly, I'll admit that the bases were correct. The prosecution countered that the garden gnome still had a fishing rod. The fishing rod was not part of the lore. There is no canonical fishing rod demon prince. This is not a precedent the court is willing to set. Verdict, guilty. Sentence, paint the gnome. Add edge highlights. Write full lore explaining why he conquered 3-star systems with a fishing rod. Lean into it. Make it good. The court expects great things. Case number 24012. The People versus the Dice Tower. A player stacked his dice tower on top of one of another dice tower, then another, and then yet another. The structure exceeded local building codes and briefly became load-bearing. Verdict, guilty. Sentence, must file engineering permits before future tournaments. Structural assessment required. If the tower falls and scatters someone's dice mid-roll, that is legally a re-roll and morally a war crime. Case number 24013. The People versus the Coke Can Terrain Piece. The defendant placed a single unpainted Coke can as industrial terrain. No basing, no paint, no effort, no apology. The court acknowledges this tradition dates back to the literal dawn of tabletop gaming. We have all done it. We will probably do it again. The court is not above reproach here. However, verdict, partially guilty. Sentence, glue 1 skull onto it. 1. We're not asking for much. We're not monsters. We just have standards, and those standards begin with exactly 1 skull. Predictions and closing remarks. This week's predictions, which I am stating now so you now know I'm serious about them. Someone will declare 11th edition the greatest edition ever made. Someone else will declare it the worst. Both videos will get identical view counts. A new meta list will emerge. It will be declared dead within 3 days. The player running it will finish second at a regional, and everyone will act surprised. The BattleTech player will finish another miniature. Nobody will believe him. He will not care. He has transcended. Games Workshop will release something expensive. The community will complain, and it will sell out. This is simply how it works now. We've all accepted it. And somewhere in Canada, maybe in Ontario, Maybe the suburbs of a city with too many roundabouts and not enough parking, a hobbyist will stare out the window at a summer construction zone, at the concrete barriers and the pylons and the piles of gravel and think, I would make excellent terrain. And honestly, they're right. They're absolutely right. This has been episode 24 of the Miniature Misinformer podcast. Remember, check your sources, thin your paints, read the Dataslate before declaring your faction dead, and if all else fails, blame the dice. They deserve it. They know what they did.